Hello, it's Ricardo and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. In today's video, we're going to go back into the annals of history and explore the evolution of a plucky little ship. A ship that you only had with no other options to fly around with in the earlier games. I'm talking about the Cobra and its iterations of Cobra Mk1 all the way up to the Cobra Mk4. So sit down, grab a biscuit and your favourite hot beverage as we explore the history of the Cobra family of ships in the Elite family of games. Well, welcome back, Commanders, and we start our journey through the annals of history with the Cobra Mk1. The Cobra Mk1 was a combat trader craft that was favoured latterly by pirates. The Cobra Mk1 was the first trade ship designed and built for the one-man trader, the lone wolf, as you would say. Its special feature at the time of manufacture by Mk and Prosit and Salem was its Prosit drive, which incorporated afterburners with proton-tightened interior shaft walls. This popular ship of the Elite franchise was everywhere at the time, according to the lore. This then took a little bit of a turn for the worst, where success basically led to the Cobra Mk2. Now, the Cobra Mk2 was meant to be the successor to the popular Cobra trading vessel, the Mk1, with increased cargo capacity and defensive capabilities. The project was ultimately a failure due to design flaws in the hull, as well as ambitious design that was well beyond the production capabilities of the time. The basic design was revived decades later for the Cobra Mk3, which slightly expanded the hull to both fix its design flaws and give it extra cargo and weapon space. Though in 2972 game time, following the success of the initial Cobra, Mk, Prosit and Salem banked the future of their company on the Mk2. Sometimes called the Mk-X due to its experimental nature. Financing was arranged by Galcorp, but the PR campaign alone cost a fortune, making a huge promises that many thought would be difficult for them to deliver at the time. The company heavily courted naval interest, promoting the Mk2 as a potential game changer, a ship that could be used in long-term patrols, border system combat, resupply duty, as well as be a capable combat fighter. With 50% boost in its energy banks, improved maneuverability, 4 missiles instead of 1, and revolutionary new cargo systems with the increased potential for capacity, the Mk2 promised a lot, but could it deliver? The Navy was intrigued but refused to provide additional backing unless the company could provide working prototypes. By 2974, after a number of failed workshop simulations and under a tight deadline with the high expectations to meet, the designers ultimately fudged some numbers in the hull just to get it to the prototype stage. That first prototype was completed in 2982, but was then later destroyed during launch due to shearing stresses on the hull. The next year, a second prototype was scrapped just before the test flight due to malformed alloys. It then took another 2 years for a third prototype to be commissioned, once Falcon's DeLacy became involved. This financial support was given on the promise of their focus returning to a medium-scale independent trader rather than that jack of all trades. 3 years later, the third prototype was launched. The initial trials were a success, but the inherent flaws began to show over the next couple of years of testing, and the ship was ultimately scrapped in 2990. The original company of Mk, Prosit and Salem was bankrupt 4 years later despite strong sales of the Cobra Mk1. At first, the company was incorporated into Falcon DeLacy, who used some of the ideas of the Cobra Mk2 project to improve the tried and tested Mk1. Decades later, the PPS Corporation was bought out by Cowell and McGrath, who designed and redesigned the structure and internal layout from the ground up, whilst retaining the best of its design features, expanding upon them with the addition of extra cargo space and starboard weapons, resulting in the Cobra Mk3. With now over 100 years between the failure of the Cobra Mk2 and the unveiling of the Cobra Mk3, the Mk2 project became something of a legend. A what might have been that captured the imagination of space enthusiasts all over the Elite Dangerous galaxy. Many believed that the ship concept was ahead of its time, and its failure was because of the technology simply wasn't ready for the ambitious multi-role position of the vessel in the market. There is some truth, however, to this, if you read the lore. The elements of the Mark II that made the Mark III most popular were ultimately beyond the technical capabilities of the day, such as the modular design of its internal workspace, a concept that ended up being used by all ship manufacturers once it had been perfected. Like the Mark III, it was designed for a crew of 2. The first 2 prototypes, meant to attract funding from the Navy, allowed for the co-pilot to control the rear weapon mount and a narrow-range turret 30-degree arc for improved rear defense. Rumours circulated for ages that not all the prototypes had been scrapped. For some time, stories and movies were made involving the near-mythical ship, alternately portrayed as the deadly advanced fighter or hearty explorer ship. The truth was largely lost to science fiction of the time. These theories were not, however, unfounded, with the second prototype was not scrapped as officially stated. Instead, a rich enthusiast, someone by the name of Maximilian Prefect, took possession of the ship in exchange for much needed additional funding for the Mark II project. He spent the next 20 years working on the floors of the hull of the inside as his own personal hobby, even improving the vessel beyond its initial design specifications and pumping his own fortune into a single ship. However, he died never having flown it beyond its own planet orbit. Over the next century, however, the ship changed hands from collector to collector, although it was never publicly available or confirmed to even exist until 20 years ago. The current owner, Fitzroy Smith, is said to have an extensive collection of rare ships in his private space station, located in an asteroid field, and is not currently for sale. Smith is said to be rather eccentric and sometimes offering unique missions for visiting pilots. All this lore has been gathered from the internet, from different sites, even the Elite, History and Wikipedia, so thanks to them for all this current lore on the Cobra Mk1 and Mark II. Now, the Cobra Mk3 is a versatile and highly capable ship that's been manufactured by Falcon de Lacy. It's become an iconic vessel in the world of space exploration and combat in regards to Elite Dangerous, with its debut in 3100 under the ban of its original manufacturer, Cowell and McGrath of Relive. The Cobra Mk3 quickly gained a reputation as a reliable and affordable option for pilots of all levels of experience. The Cobra Mk3 has a rich history that dates back over a century. Its design has undergone several iterations, with each version improving upon the previous one. One notable example is an older iteration of the Cobra Mk3 which can be found at a crash site in HIP 12099. Planet 1B. This particular ship belonged to the renowned Commander John Jameson, who played a pivotal role in the Thargoid conflict, a site that you can go and visit in Elite Dangerous today. Unfortunately, however, Commander Jameson's mission was sabotaged by the INRA Corporation, it has been believed, leading to the loss of his ship after what was a pivotal moment in the last Thargoid War. Despite this setback, the Cobra Mk3 continued to evolve and improve. In 3100, Cowell and McGrath of Relive designed and released the original Cobra Mk3, which quickly gained popularity amongst the new pilots due to its affordable price and versatility at the time. Over time, however, the company acquired Falcon de Lacy, who continued to produce modern iterations of the Cobra Mk3. One of the key features that sets the Cobra Mk3 apart is, as we've mentioned, is that versatility, that jack of all trades role of being capable of excelling in various roles, that true first multi-role ship in the game. Now, whether it's combat, exploration, trading or mining, the Cobra Mk3 can handle it, it has been said. Although there are better ships, for the beginning and fledgling commander, the Cobra Mk3 does seem to be quintessential in the game. In combat, the Cobra Mk3 proves to be a formidable adversary. With its impressive damage output and robust defences, it can hold its own in a fight, outfitted and engineered correctly. The Cobra Mk3 is highly effective in both bounty hunting and pirating for a certain level of commander. However, it is worth noting that it may be outmaneuvered by the more agile ships like the Eagle Mk2 and Viper Mk3 when face skilled opponents, whether those be players or NPCs. Nonetheless, its large cargo bay for its size of the ship does make it a viable option for pirates looking to maximise their haul. In regards to exploration, for aspiring explorers, the Cobra Mk3 offers an affordable and capable option with a sizable fuel tank and 6 internal compartments. It provides ample space for essential exploration modules such as a detailed surface scanner, fuel scoop, which is a must when on exploration, and an auto field maintenance unit. The ship's design also allows the installation of these models without sacrificing shields, ensuring the safety of the pilot and fledgling explorer. However, its jump range may fall short compared to other ships like the Adder and Hauler, making it a trade-off for explorers seeking maximum distance. In regards to trading, however, the Cobra Mk3 is an excellent choice for traders, thanks to its spacious cargo hold with more than double the carrying capacity of ships like the Hauler and Adder, and a fraction of the cost of the Type 6 transporter. Right now, why would you want one of those? The Cobra Mk3 serves as a logical stepping stone for aspiring traders. Its small landing pad requirement also makes it a viable option for stations with limited facilities, giving you that ability to land basically anywhere, especially on planet surfaces in Odyssey where you might have mountainous and rocky terrain. Additionally, its combat potential surpasses that of most freighters, allowing the pilots to defend themselves or escape from hostile interdictions. Although the Cobra Mk4 is not readily available to any old commander in the Elite Dangerous universe, the Cobra Mk4 was an exclusive reward for Elite Dangerous players who upgraded to Elite Dangerous Horizons during its first year. It's only available to PC players as well, however, who purchased Horizons before February 5th, 2016, and this also includes commanders who have the Lifetime Expansion Pass. Xbox One players who purchased Horizons before July 30th, 2016 also have access to it, although players who met these requirements can obtain the ship in-game from stations using credits. PlayStation 4 players, however, currently do not have any means to access the Cobra Mk4. And from what we understand, Frontier Developments has no plans to make the Cobra Mk4 available to other players. There was the Cobra Mk4 and there was also the Viper Mk4. Now we all know that Frontier has since stopped development of the game in any iteration on consoles. It's just a PC only. So those commanders who were bombing around in their Cobra Mk4 on consoles have to do it at a certain point of time and will get no future updates. Looking at the lore for the Cobra Mk4, it's easy to see how the Cobra Mk4 is indeed the successor of the extremely popular Cobra Mk3. This is the heavier of the Cobra ships and a fine choice, if you can get it and qualify for it, for a trader at the lower levels of the game. Let's face it, however, this is all a bit dated, seen as the original Cobra Mk4 was released to players of the Lifetime Expansion Pass, as we've mentioned, and people who upgraded to Horizons in February 2016. Most commanders would have paid the game to utter distraction by then and would be way above what the Cobra Mk4 can do. When bombing around in the game though, however, you can see different NPCs flying around in a Cobra Mk4, which is interesting to see that those ships are still in game, though as we have mentioned, you can't go and buy one. Now the Cobra Mk4 is extremely similar in concept to the Viper Mk4, having better armour, compartments and damage, but having drastically reduced mobility. As a trader, the Mk4 is relatively impressive 88 tons of cargo, placing it slightly behind the keelback and the Type 6. It's all pretty standard fare in ship design in regards to the Cobra, and not an awful lot has changed. The example that comes immediately to mind is the recent introduction of the Guatemala's spin on a very popular craft, the Imperial Eagle, or the I-Eagle, as it's even been come to know in some commander circles, which has been comparison so far for a more positive review by the Pilots Federation. On paper, the new Cobra, the Cobra Mk4, is significantly improved over its classic counterpart, bearing an extra hardpoint. It technically punches above the belt, or even purpose-built fighters its size. It has the ability to carry roughly 45% more cargo than its early iteration, the Cobra Mk3, and basic shield package provides 50% more shielding. For a utility multi-purpose craft like the Cobra, these are significant and fantastic additions. I'd probably even go as far to say that this ship is better at what it was built for than the Cobra Mk3. Although, like we say, it's a bit of a bitter pill for most commanders because they can't access it. As we've seen, the Cobra family of ships is a history rife with being true multi-purpose superiority role ships that have stood the test of time. Their versatility, affordability and capability in combat, exploration, trading and mining make them a popular choice among pilots, especially if pilots are a lower level. Whether you're just starting your journey or a seasoned veteran, the Cobra family of ships offers a reliable and adaptable platform for your adventures in space. Or if anything else, just a change from some of the bigger ships. I've been Ricardo. Thanks very much for sticking with me through this history of the Cobra ships in Elite and Elite Dangerous. How we got from Elite and the Cobra Mk1, Cobra Mk2, Cobra Mk3, right the way to the Cobra Mk4 is an interesting story and one that is very much steeped in lore. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.